In this lesson, I will show you how to do an index and match formulation. So let's get started. Now what we've got here is a table. And what we're going to be looking up is we're going to look up the state and we're going to return any of these three columns, E, F, or G. To understand the index and match formula, you first must understand what the index formula does. Well, we're looking up a reference or a range. Put the ref for reference here. So that's what the range that we're going to be looking up. That's going to be this area just here, from D3 to G12. I might make that a light color. We'll look up that reference point, anything in that particular range, and we're going to look up two things. We're going to look up a row and a column. Now that is the syntax for an index formula. What's the range that we're looking at? And what's the row and column index that we're looking for? And you see, down the side, I've got row index 1 to 10, and the column index 1 to 4, okay? So anywhere in that point, we can find data that relates to our state. And in the example over here to this side here, we've got Texas as our example state. So you'll notice that there are two Texas. What the index will do is it will pick up on the first instance, okay? So what we want to do is we want to create a little index that looks up that range for the fourth row and whatever column we choose. I might just make it simple, and we'll look up, say, the second column. What we can do is we can create an index, cursor inside cell J6. Let's type equal index parenthesis. And the index in that range is from D3 to G12. Type a comma, and we're going to look up the fourth row. Comma, then the second column. So the fourth row is the area here, and the second column is this area here. That should give us the number that I've got here, the 2,099,000. Enter, great. Now we want to incorporate a match formula and make the row part of the index flexible. Our match formula works like this. It says, what's the reference? What are we looking up? And then where is the lookup range? Where does it live? And then we want an exact match, which is just 0. There are many different types of matches, but for this example, I'm just going to focus on the exact match, which is 0. Now, if it doesn't match, it throws up an error. All right, we can look up this area here, Texas, and then that will give us a row point. Very important. All the match does is return a numerical value. So in the Texas instant, it says 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is the first, second, third, fourth instance. Yeah? I might just put that over here in cell K6. So we'll try and return the same sort of thing, and let's type equals index and open a left parenthesis. And then we'll choose our range. It's D3 to G12. Comma. Now what we'll do is we'll incorporate this match formula. Let's type match. What are we looking up? We're looking up Texas. That's our reference point, J3, comma. Where are we all looking it up? Well, we're looking it up in this range from D3 to D12. Notice how we just choose that singular range, okay? Then a comma. And as I said, it's just going to be an exact match. 0 for an exact match. So we close our bracket, which should give us the fourth instance. Now we want to get the numerical values in the second column. We must type a comma. And notice the column reference, comma 2. So we close our bracket for the index formula. And that should give us exactly the same number. Enter, boom. We get precisely the same number between those two because we've picked up the fourth instance of this particular range, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've told it that we want the second column. What if I want to be able to put any column through here? And we want to put in any term down there for our state. Well, we could take this formulation even further, and we could do an index reference, comma match, and comma match. We could match the row and column for these reference points here. So here we can basically just combine these two formulations. Cursor inside cell J7 equals index parenthesis, and then we want to grab the same sort of index. We'll grab the large index around there from D3 to G12, type a comma, and now the fun begins. Okay, we know that this row is the first part of the equation, so we want to match. What do we want to match? We've got to look it up, as the value is Texas, so we'll type in J3. We type a comma. Where does that live? What's the range for Texas? Well, it's just here, range D3 to D12. We type a comma. It's an exact match, 0. Close our bracket. That finishes this match formula, okay? Now we type a comma, we go straight into the last part, which is the column reference here. Now we have to be careful. We've started the range here in column D. We will look at this range in row 2 for the match. So we type match and we open the bracket. What are we matching? Well, we're going to match this cell here in that range. So in 2022 population, so we click in there, I7 cell, comma. Where does that live? That's the question we're asking. That's kind of difficult to get your head around. Where does that match live? Well, it lives here. And make sure you start where the index formula started. So start column D and go all the way across from D2 to G2. And then we type a comma, exact match again, 0. Close our bracket for the match, and then close the bracket for the index. And this number here, this 2160, should go smashing into the cell. Enter. Nice. It pops in, and it pops in because the intersection between this cell here, and this column is exactly equal to that. If we want this number popping in there, all we have to do is copy the growth decline cell, Ctrl+C, and paste that into cell I7. Okay, that's how the index and match formula works. Just understand the index. It's what a reference point, the row, and then the column. And then you need to understand the match formula. It just returns a numerical reference to a row or a column position that you choose. Have practice with it. Try and extend it further, but that's how an index and a match formula works. I hope it's helped. Have a great day, everyone.